Welcome back to your favorite podcast, Two Homeschool Moms. I'm Nickie.
And I'm Ashlee. If you're looking for real, raw, and relatable moms who talk all things homeschool and mom life,
you're in the right place. All right, so I texted you this weekend and I said, holy crap, have you ever heard of cloud seeding? And I was just like blown away by this entire concept. And I thought it was so fake because we were at a birthday party with my husband's like friend from middle school who we met at like steakhouse, and his wife like planned the thing. And we were sitting next to someone else who was also in his middle school, high school class. And I don't know how the conversation got started, but he mentioned that like, well, that's why they're getting rain in like Saudi or where was he? Saudi Arabia, maybe? No, I don't know. It was some country that's like in the desert.
Middle East.
Dubai or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what? I'm like, and he's like, well, yeah, they like made their own islands and they like, and then he's showing me like pictures of like a wall. And I'm like, what the hell's the wall for? What are they trying to about if they're on an island? Like the sharks? Like what? I'm like, I'm so far into like you're kidding. You're joking, right? And he's like showing me all these pictures and I'm like, this is a rabbit hole I need to go down because I have not heard of cloud seeding where they like release. And then he's like, oh, they release like pipe bombs or something. And I'm like, the way he was saying it, like flares or something. And I was just like, yeah, no. And then he showed video and I was like, what? This is a thing? We can make it rain? And I'm like, it gives whole meaning to like make it rain.
Yeah, weather manipulation is 100% real. It's not just a conspiracy theory, but it's super negative. So have you ever seen the kids movie Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs?
No.
Oh my gosh, you need to watch it. But anyways, they figure out how they have like this technology where they can turn like one spaghetti and meatballs into like a huge that could feed the world, right? But you learn that yes, you could do something like this, but you shouldn't, especially no one needs to mess with nature. I'm just going to say that point blank. Nature is a beast and no one should mess with it. And so that I think there's negative things happening from manipulating weather is what is probably on the news. And oh, why is it so hot during winter? Or why is it so cold during summer? Well, when you mess with Mother Nature, it's normally not the best thing you can do.
I don't even know what they're doing to mess with nature. I have legit not dove down that pathway. I was just mind blown at this party we were at this weekend. And they're like, oh my God, tell your friend that he's wearing a tin hat too. And I was like, okay. I'm like, cause I just, the girl next to me who was his wife both our jaws were just like on the floor. Like we were just like, what? You're joking. I don't know. And then Josh is over here like, you didn't know that? And I'm like, sorry.
I mean, I think it's definitely like in the realm of conspiracy rabbit holes. Even though it's real, like it's legit happening and there's proof of it happening. I just think the type of people that know more about it are more people who are in conspiracies. And then that's where you're going to end up. So yes, it happens. And you're going to get like our science government reason of why they do it. But then you're also going to find 100 rabbit holes of other reasons why they think people are doing it. But do you want to hear something crazy? And it's so weird. You texted me on Saturday. So Nick is super into conspiracy theories. So I'll just lay that out. Like, that's why this was not like new to me. I was like, yeah, what do you mean? Like, not that it was being mean. You don't know what it is, but like, yeah, like I've heard it 100 times. So Nick was just watching some YouTuber last week and they were talking about all the storms that are happening in Southern California, like crazy weather crabs happening there. And they were talking about what?
I just saw an article on Death Valley having a lake.
Sure.
Like they have it's like a foot, you know, it's not like a deep lake by no means, but it was not a lake prior to all this like that. Insane.
Oh, so it's new. Like it just now they have a lake.
It just happened because of like it used to be a lake like many
lake bed
ago.
Yeah.
And now like so like people were traveling from everywhere just to like say they got to see the lake and like go paddleboarding on the like foot of water that was.
I mean, like I live super close to Death Valley and like I would never waste my time going there, but whatever. I mean, sure. Okay, so like that. So there's record rains, record storms, like we've been getting all this weird weather. So they were talking about like there was snow coming down in certain parts, which it doesn't snow there, but they were catching the snow Okay, this is super conspiracy, so don't stay with me. They were catching the snow and like it wouldn't melt. So like it like they would like light a flame to it and like this snow would not melt. Like they were trying all this crap and it just like would not melt. So anyway, so Nick told me this last week and I'm just like, yeah, you know, whatever. Like I believe anything anymore because this world's freaking crazy. So Saturday, we're out doing errands and there was like this super dark like rain cloud, but there's no rain on our forecast like at all. And I'm like, that is super weird. So I'm sitting in the car and Nick's like going into a store and I'm like looking outside and it legit looks like it's snowing. And it's like 70 degrees, mind you, and like sunny. And I'm like, what is happening? And so he comes closer and I see the white like kind of like going around his face. The weirdest snow, but I don't know what the hell it was because it wasn't, I don't know. I have no idea.
Snow at 70 degrees.
It was and it was only in like this one shopping center like area like that we were in that day, but like this super dark cloud. And then you texted me that and I'm like, what is happening? Like what is going on in the world? Get me home. So
I mean, we have definitely had some questionable weather and we had 12 tornadoes 12 tornadoes in February.
That's wild.
Like last, I think it was like the 28th or something of February. It blew my mind. I was like, there's one where Dee lives in her area. There was one in another suburb, like I don't know, maybe like 20-ish minutes away. And I was just like, I mean, it got eerie. I mean, we were on the phone. Like, you could see it was lightning.
Can we talk about that you were having tornado warnings, yet you chose to be on the phone with me outside instead of in shelter? So, like, sirens are going off. And Nikki's like, yeah, you know, I'm just making dinner on FaceTime. She's talking to me. I'm like, I think you need to go somewhere, Nickie. I think you need to go in hiding.
Okay, so I eventually did go in the house, but that was before our sirens were going off. I could hear them going off, but I couldn't tell if it was tornado or like in West. You said you didn't have this by you. I don't know if who's listening may have it, but at the schools, they have light detector like siren. And so I don't know the differentiation between those. And so it was lightning a lot. And so I'm like, if it was a tornado siren, you would think if I'm hearing it in the next town, we would have our siren as well.
Right.
But we have so many schools around us, like I have no idea what the siren from. But I was just like, at one point I'm like, okay, it's starting to rain and it's lightning like bad enough to freak me out to where I don't want to get electrocuted. And so I'm going to go in my house. And then I like literally like 10 minutes, if that went by. And our phone started like blaring, that we had a warning. And I was like, okay. And so Josh immediately like runs outside because he wants to see what, you know, is going on. And I'm like, I already was out there.
Like, you guys were wild.
This is totally a Midwest thing, I feel like, because we get all the memes of people. There's that like lady who just like, she's like looking like, and it'll be like, not us in the Midwest, like us Midwesterners, you know, we like to be out there catching the tornado because we're in so disbelief that we're going to see one, you know, but it's been more frequent. We had 12 tornadoes and not even like super far from us. Yeah, they were like EF0s. I think one was like an EF1, which is like very low on the tornado scale as far as like damage and winds. But I'm also very weather obsessed. Like I am obsessed with weather. Like I love storms. I will wait up if I know a storm is coming just so I can watch the lightning. I will like put all my windows up so I can hear the rain and like, or keep my blinds open in my bedroom. Like I'm upset. Like Josh and I have gone out just to like go into a parking garage and like sit on the top floor of the parking garage just so we could watch storms.
Okay, that's like super cute and like from a book, but crazy is all I'm gonna say. I would never, and like you would think I would be more like into it because we don't ever get weather, and so if we do, it's super rare. But no, I'm in my house. I will not leave the house. I hate it. I don't know how to drive in the rain. We're not like our roads aren't meant for it either. So like I'm just like absolutely not.
I don't like driving in the rain. Just because I have astigmatism and driving at night is a struggle in the first place.
Everything's like flared, right? Like all the lights. Yeah.
And then you add rain at night, and it's like you can't see nothing. Like everything just glares, and it's just a nightmare. So if it's ever raining and we're on like a road trip, I make someone else drive because I don't want to deal with that. But I love it. I absolutely love storm season, and it's my favorite. And I've kind of made everyone in my house just as obsessed as me. So there's that. But yeah, I'm me.
Well, let's talk about another kind of season for today's episode. And that is curriculum season, because it is here. It is happening. It's March. And everyone is talking about what curriculum, what they're doing for the 2024-2025 homeschool year.
Yeah.
Are you excited? Are you ready?
No, not at all. I mean, we've already had our unschooling episode, so go check that out if you're new here, because you want to listen to that one before we talk about this one. But that's where I'm at mentally, is that I'm just like all over the place. But I think I've come to terms with that we strive way more on structure than I want to admit when I want to go down these rabbit holes and think I can be an unschooler, because that seems cool. But she strives with structure. Like, she is very much a structure in every aspect of her day. Very routine, very regimented of a person. And so I think if I took that away, we would struggle greatly. So I'm over here like, okay, back to curriculum. But I'm trying to cater the curriculum choices that I'm doing to still kind of be interest led. So I'm not going to like go from one cover to the next, as much as that is so hard for me to not do. But I want her to pick like what in our book, and then I can cross it off, which is going to be a little bit difficult for me with my homeschool planner. But I think that's going to be our best bet in getting her interested in keeping on those paths, because I'll have the book and she can just point out which things she wants to do first.
I like that. And so, that's so funny. So we have our current science curriculum, and there was like I want to call them chapters, but like 3 lessons, like we were just dragging, and like none of us could like focus on these concepts. And so I started flipping ahead, and then it like started being about like biomes and animals. And I was like, yes, but like it felt so weird. Just, we're not going to do that. We're just going to skip it. And I didn't think I would have that much of a problem with it. But even now I feel like something is not complete, but I'm like, it's so much better because now like we're enjoying what we are learning rather than just trying to get through it.
Yeah, it's very, very hard for me to skip through things in a curriculum. I will do it, especially if I think it's absolutely ridiculous. But like, it is so hard for my mental brain to go like, it's okay. It's okay. We don't need this part. Or like, it's okay if one assignment or lesson or chapter is skipped. It is a lot of my like, is that because we're type A? I don't know. Like, I don't know what our reasoning behind why it's difficult for us, but I'm hoping I can just jump real good into that next year and just like go with the flow. But I need some type of thing in front of me. I need something to help guide me. And she actually really loves bookwork, which was opposite to what like I thought, because I want to simplify things. But I think what I'm going to end up doing is I'm planning to have just a ton of resources. So like maybe one day, instead of her like extra sheet coming from just this one source, like I found a website, Extra Math. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
I haven't.
But this is also why I called you on Sunday, because I like went down another rabbit hole.
Oh, you did call me.
But I found this really cool website, and they're math games, but like online, and we did it on the computer. I don't know if there's an app or anything, and it's a free account. I think there is a paid option, but we just chose the free one. And yeah, I'm just like leaning more towards the fun, like interactive things to go with the structured things. As I think that will give her a little bit of freedom there as well.
Yeah, I think that's a great option for you guys. And you know what? If it doesn't work, it's free. It's just a website.
Right.
It's not like, you know, you paid all this money or like you're out. And so you should feel good about.
Well, and I mean, I've mentioned before, maybe on here and even on my personal channel, that we were kind of leaning away from the curriculum for math that we were doing. And I wanted to outsource it for next year because that's the one we butt heads with all the time.
Right.
And now I'm kind of second guessing that because the way that curriculum is designed, she can easily guess and get away with it.
Because she's too freaking smart.
Yeah. And like she already was when we were trying it out. And I'm like, no. And there's not an easy way. If she doesn't write it down in the program, there's no way for me to see how she got that answer and why it was wrong. And so like I can automatically just assume, okay, maybe she just guessed. And that's why she came up with that answer. Because it was like a multiple choice or something like that.
Interesting.
And so I'm like, this kid, like
she's too smart.
She is. And because it's a struggle, like that's too easy for her to just like get by with it and be like, she doesn't want to take the hints. She didn't want to take any of the hints on like to help her solve a problem that she had a question on. And she, because it was on a tablet, she thinks that like she can do that in another room away from me. And so I wasn't there sitting there like watching her do every single move. And so that was part of it. So I don't know what she's like. Is she listening to the whole thing? Like the lesson? I don't know. So now I'm just like, oh, here we are back at square one.
And that is kind of the downside of like outsourcing, right? Because you kind of, it's not you're not involved, but like you're a little bit removed. And like, I had to go through some of that with Emma because I don't think they're trying to be deceitful or anything. I just think they're smart and they're trying to get their schoolwork done the best way they can. And so I did notice, so Emma's computer was in her room up until like a couple weeks ago. And she wasn't watching the video, but like the lesson. And then she would come ask me for help. And I'm like, well, did you watch the lesson? Like, show me how to do this problem. And she's like, I can't. And I'm like, you didn't watch the freaking lesson. Go watch the lesson and then we'll do it. So now she has to do her lessons out in the homeschool room. That's just one of the reasons she's out in the homeschool room now. But yes, with strong-willed, smart kids, we have to be a little bit more hyper vigilant when we're outsourcing because they're going to figure out the system. They're going to figure out how to.
Girl, it was like, what? We've been trying it for 2 weeks? Like, maybe a month? Like, and I'm just like already figuring this out. And then I'm on the portal on the parent side going, wait a second. Why can't I see first of all, what her answer was? And it didn't flow well for me on the parent portal side. So that was another like downside. But then I came across the easy peasy all-in-one math and it's free. They're all free.
They have everything. Every grade, every subject. Free.
Everything. I'm like, spoiler alert, like I think we're going to be doing a lot of that here.
Shut up. You didn't even tell me this.
You didn't answer the phone for your migraine situation.
I couldn't breathe. And you probably would have made my migraine worse. So I'm very glad I did not answer the call now.
Yeah, you're right. But I don't know. Me and her were sitting here. They teach you how to play chess online on one of their programs. It's like Thinkers. So it's like things that make you think, I guess. And chess was one of them. And I mean, they literally have everything. And so I'm like, I don't necessarily have to do everything. And I don't have to have like, I don't know. They also have the workbooks. So I ordered the workbooks through Amazon. And they're supposed to be here today or tomorrow. And I'm going to look at them and we're going to kind of like, I might like cut it and go get it the spine different because I can't stand having a book like not lay completely flat. But that's just a left-hander issue in me. But yeah, I'm going to consider it because I printed out some of the free printables and I loved what I saw on the free printables, like just extra worksheets. I loved what I saw. No, it's not in color. That is the one.
You got to get over that. You got to get over the color thing.
Especially with math. That's not as important for me. But yeah, so I think I'm kind of like narrowing down what it's going to be next year. Okay, it's just going to seem like a lot
It is going to seem like a lot. So.
Because I'm a lot.
You are a lot. Easy Peasy is a great I think we should do a whole episode on free stuff. But also, have you seen Core Knowledge ever?
Why are you telling me this?
So now I'm nervous because, okay. So core knowledge is free, and it's tons, every subject, every grade. Okay, you need to go watch, what is I think her YouTube channel is called Jack and Link Toys. She's the owner of Jack and Link, who makes all the word balls.
She's my Mostos girl.
Yes. So they use core knowledge as like their main curriculum, and she does coolest stuff with it. And like, I wish I could be like that.
And then I asked her if she can link me. And then, because I couldn't find the specific thing she was doing, it was like economics or something.
There's so much. Yeah. Just go to core knowledge and like, just find the grade subject, and like it's units, it's curriculum, it's so much. So that's another really cool one too. That could be more, I guess, interest led, because you could like pick economics and just like, they had a Greek mythology one, and I was like, oh, that's super cool. And I was like, we could just do that as like a free unit study. Like, that's it. So that's a really good
we definitely need to do an episode on free resources.
Oh yeah, because I know so many other ones. I know you do too, because I know we've talked about it before. I think we both did a YouTube video on it like a year ago.
So what, like, I know what some of the stuff you're going to be using. And like, I'm sure a lot of people can guess by now from your videos lately on what you're to be using.
I hope they could. Well, yeah.
But like, what led you down like the path? Because your daughters are splitting, right? They're not doing as much together. What ultimately was like your reasoning for like what in your brain said, how am I going to pick this curriculum this year? Like, what questions did you ask yourself on what you know you needed for your students?
So them splitting was, I think, a huge factor in it, because I was like, okay, a lot of the curriculum I've used previously was because we could do it as family subjects, and it worked great as family subjects. But as my oldest is getting older, she was just so bored. Like, she was finishing the assignments like way ahead of time of Mila, and Mila's not like below grade, she's just as intelligent, but like they were just not on the same level. And so I quickly was like, look, my oldest daughter needs to be more challenged. Like, she is, and if she's bored, she can start getting like an attitude or start like not wanting to do school. And so I was like, hey, I got to get this girl, like, what's going to work? And, we've been using a certain curriculum here and there for years. And I'm like, I love this curriculum. Like, I've never not loved something. And so I was like, let's try it like for my oldest daughter, like independently. And it's working great. And so that is like something I always do, is before I decide to use it for the next homeschool year, I incorporate it into our current homeschool year. So I'm like, let's add it in and see if it works. And then I feel better about it. And so like, we've been using it. And so yes, like it's working. And that's what we're going to use for our next homeschool year, is kind of how I decide. So I did that last year too.
It helped like that you guys were already using that same curriculum, just like a different level that you were trying out. I think it would be hard for me to just like, quit like our main core curriculum for like a week or two, especially towards the end of our year, to see if it's going to work for the next year. But so like crazy me over here, we are still doing our normal math book, and then she was doing the new one we were trying out like extra because the new one, it took her 10 minutes to complete a lesson. It wasn't a lot. But yeah, that's what I did too, is we've been testing things and trying to figure it out now, because I don't want to run into the situation I ran in at the beginning of this school year, where I had all this new stuff and then most of everything I chose didn't work.
Yeah, I've been there. Cause I did that. I bought all the stuff you bought without like trying it. And I'm like, oh, this all looks great. And then I caught myself before we started our school year though. And I was like, I'm not doing this. I don't know why I bought all this. So yeah, definitely try to incorporate it, I think, in your current homeschool year, just a little bit, just to make sure it flows and it works. But I'm still nervous, like, because I also feel like it's so much more simple than like currently. Like right now we use like 6 to 8 different things. We'll be using only 2 curriculums next year, like only 2 things. And like, I get like these random like anxiety attacks. I'm like, am I going to regret this? Yeah. Did I make and it was expensive. It wasn't like a cheap thing, because I had to buy like a whole year for 2 kids. And I'm like, if I regret this, I'm going to pass out. But like,
because that was a lot of money.
There was a lot of money. And I don't know though. I feel so right about it, because it's not new to me. Like, we've been using it. I know how it works. I know what it's going to look like next year. And so I do feel super confident. It's just so simple. Like when I'm trying to film my like curriculum videos and I'm like, they're going to be 2 seconds long because it's going to be like, I'm using this and I'm using this. And
you could still split it up by subject and like flip through them and help that.
No,
but like,
I mean, there's plenty to share. And Nico's using the most curriculum and he'll be fun. So I'll have his little fun stuff, which I'm excited to like restart and try something different with him. So that too, like I have multiple kids that I can kind of like change things and try out different things and know what works and what doesn't too. So
yeah, I just, like I already had bought stuff. I already like had this grand plan, and my whole like word that I'm trying to go off of next year is simplify. And I don't know what I'm doing. Like, am I simplifying it, or am I just adding to the craziness of having like the multiple resources? But in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, I need that because if she decides, like, I have a backup plan. If she decides like, well, I'm not really interested in that, then I have something we can do in the time being before maybe we can go back to it. That's the way like I was thinking about it. But like, I'm pretty solid that it's going to be very simplified. Like I have in my head what it looks like, and I'm taking out like 2 of the things she's doing for morning work. Like I'm not having her do a formal spelling curriculum because she's an excellent speller. And I could literally just pull words from the books and things that we're reading and just say, hey, how do you spell this? And if she knows it, she knows it. We move on. If she doesn't, I ask her again and see if she can get the right answer. Like I don't think there has to be this like dramatic spelling curriculum. So that simplified. She's still really interested in handwriting, so I'm keeping our handwriting stuff. But it's been really hard for me, and I think it up until this point, I mean, we'll be on our 5th year. Next year will be our 5th year. Our next school year will be our 5th year. Where, I think I finally made it to the whole like interest-led debate. And actually I was watching Angela
Braniff,
the girl you like. Yes, her. She just came out with a video of how or why you shouldn't homeschool. And I think it's on like her new channel. I want to say. She just
got a new channel.
And that video, like, I was sucked in from the very moment, because it's not necessarily like in a negative connotation. Like it's not a negative context at all. And like she goes into this pathway of like, once you release the like expectation of like what your homeschool should look like and release the like not flexible mindset or perfectionism mindset, like your world is about to be blown, because like it's a big deal. And she said it took her several years into her homeschooling to get to that point. And I'm like, I think I'm kind of getting there. Like I feel like I'm on that path of like not being so rigid and letting things just like flow. But it is not hard or not easy to like get to that point.
It's not. I love her. But this is what I will say. So I have had to quiet YouTube and all the things for the past 2 months while I was making this decision, because I'm easily influenced. And it was very easy for me to watch a video and be like, oh my God, I should use this curriculum. It's so great. But like, that's not what I want to use. I know what I want to use. And so I've also been very careful about what I'm watching, who I'm watching. And then now that I've officially purchased everything, I'm like, okay, I'm allowed to watch some hauls, but if I start, it's like an addict. It sounds crazy. If I start wanting to buy stuff, I have to stop because I don't need anything. Thankfully, I have curriculum companies sending me stuff, but
addict too. Like,
like
my
right there. Can you see like my stuff?
Like my shelves are legit full. Of stuff over the past couple of years, because I would get sucked into that too. And I think it's great that people have these videos, because I think when you are looking, like that's how I go down some of these rabbit holes and how I find out about what I need or want, because for a long time I didn't know what I wanted or needed. And so like those are the times where I feel like these videos are amazing and are so helpful. And then there's where like us, where like we're very easily influenced and we know know kind of like the direction we want to go, and we don't need to be influenced on any of the other ones. And then you also have to throw in, you know, not throwing shade, but like a lot of this is a business for us. Right. And so it's not just about sharing the word, but we're also working with companies that want us to share the word and want us, and it's never like something that we typically YouTubers do not pick companies that they would never use.
Right. There has to be something
I don't believe that there's a lot of us in this community that do that. And so I feel like the videos are genuine. I'm not trying to say that they're not. But again, a lot of these that come out that are sponsorships you are getting paid for that. Right. And so you're getting paid to promote a company that you should hopefully be passionate about promoting. Mm-hmm. But that's the business end of it, you know, and like for the people who watch and who aren't associated with that, you just have to be mindful of that. You have to like who you're watching and know a little bit about that.
So I want to say something very important about that. Being a content creator, knowing what companies partner and what companies don't. As a content creator, it would have been very easy for me to accept certain partnerships and use that curriculum because I would have got it for free. I would have got paid for it. But I chose a curriculum company that does not work with YouTubers, that does not send you free stuff. And it's hard showing up promoting their company every day when I have these other companies being like, we'll pay you, talk about our stuff. And I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm going to choose this curriculum over here. So that is very, very out there. There's a couple curriculum companies that are heavily influenced here on YouTube.
Yes.
And yeah, they're getting paid. I don't think it's wrong. I mean, I have a whole stack of curriculum I'm not using next year, but I'm going to share it. And I'm going to share why I'm not using it or why, you know, I wouldn't. But you have to be careful because especially right now, everyone's talking about every freaking curriculum that's out there.
Yeah. And I love that. Like I said, for the reasons of when you need it, it's there. And there, you know, back in the day, that wasn't a thing. You didn't have outlets like that you could tune into to help you make decisions in your life. Like you had to figure it out and you had to buy it and look through it. And now it's readily available right in front of your face for people who do flip throughs and stuff like that, which is awesome. But you have to think like there's influencers in every category. There's makeup influencers. There's you know, you name it, there's an influencer.
Book influencer.
Yes, book.
That's my downfall.
Ashley.
That's my bad one. I have no control there.
I mean, it's kind of cool though because you like got me you convinced me to go see this author who I love, who's local or who's not local to me, who's going to be local, signing books. So I get to go do that. But had you not seen that, like it wouldn't have happened. So influencers everywhere, including your friends who I'll never forget. We used to like make exactly the same videos all the time. Like we'd be on
we still do it.
Yeah. But it was like, we would constantly be buying what other person was buying because we'd be like, oh my God, I have to have it. And then it sat on our shelf.
Yeah. So, I love YouTube. And that's how I found all the curriculum I love now is somebody made a video on it and I'm so thankful for it. But yeah, once you're confident and like, you know what works, like just, you got to kind of quiet it down and just don't watch the curriculum specific videos. Like watch the vlogs or watch, you know, their day in the lives, like support them that way until this crazy season is over. And then just, I don't even know what else is there to planning your next homeschool year besides not like getting crazy with curriculum, taking breaks, like planning to take breaks, like don't over plan yourself, I guess.
Well, and it kind of goes along with the other stuff, but it's easy to just, and this can be done for a lot of things in life as well. It's easy to go, ooh, the new shiny thing when I have 50 other things on my shelf. Right. Go through your own library first. Go through the things that you haven't taught yet. Yeah. Go, like, those were once good options. That's why you bought them. So, like, don't necessarily think like new and shiny.
Yep. I agree.
What were you gonna say though?
Don't like overschedule yourself or be like, oh my gosh, like, because like I plan out our entire homeschool year. Like I have a video coming out where like I know our start date for next school year, I know our end date, but like also I leave so much flexibility in there because I know things happen and come up. Like my kids were sick for like half of December and February. And it's like we took all these unplanned school days off, but because I like pre-planned to like have days off, I don't know how to explain it. Because you could stress yourself out like being too structured, too rigid, and then the opposite, not planning enough. Then you're like, wait, when are we starting? When should we end? When, are we going to finish this curriculum on time? Like, I think that's a downfall too of like not knowing if you're going to have enough time to finish something, if you want to finish it, I guess.
Well, yeah, because that could be questionable on like, should we have to finish it, or are we okay with starting the same curriculum book in the next school year? A lot of people can't do it.
I can't do it.
Like me included.
Yeah. Well, like math. Like math, I'm like year to year, it has to get done. I can't carry it over.
Like, Beowulf grammar? No, we can just start it in the next year. I don't care about that. But like, I need our core stuff to be like squared away and done, to know that like it is done. And like, that's totally a me problem.
Yep.
But I was going to say another thing that I thought about is that like, take the time, especially if you're starting out, take the time to figure out how your kid learns.
Mm-hmm.
That really will determine where you go and what you buy for your curriculum, because you may have a learner who learns strictly through book. You may have a learner who learns straightly through a computer screen because they're video based, or they have that, or you may have a static learner who is very hands-on. You're going to want to buy the very hands-on components with a lot of manipulatives and a lot of experiments and stuff like that, because that's what they need to learn. Mm-hmm. So I've done videos on learning what do you call those? Learning
style?
Yes, that style.
Like
and you've done a video where there was like a test you can take, I think.
Yeah, I worked with a company
where it tells you what it is based on like a test you take.
Oh my gosh, we should do an episode when we take, the test was free and I'll have to find it. We could take the test again, share our kids, and then share the different learning method styles there are. Because I get asked that all the time, and I forgot that I worked with that company.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's super important.
I don't know. I have to ask though, like, is your husband ever involved in any part of like your curriculum planning?
Absolutely not. No, he doesn't even, no idea. Like even, I mean, like, cause I work budget wise, like I know he sees me charging. He just trusts me. He just trusts what I'm doing or buying. Nope, not a word, not a peep.
Same. No, I'm just curious because like I'm curious for those who listen to us. Leave in the comments down below how involved your husband in that process. Does it help or not help you make your decisions? Especially, I guess, when it comes to budget, right? Because that would probably be a big to do if your husband was involved in that aspect. There's a lot that goes into curriculum planning, and now we have some new ideas for you guys for new videos too that we'll touch base on in the coming. Do you want to mention that? I know this is early on, but just getting a feel for maybe opinions on us taking a break for a while after this season.
Yeah. I mean, we've obviously, this will be like episode 16. So that means we've had 16 straight weeks of putting out episodes, which as a YouTube person doesn't seem crazy, right? Because on YouTube, you're supposed to be putting out like multiple videos a week. But I mean, we also are both working moms. We're homeschooling moms. Like we're just busy. And this does take like time. As much as it's enjoyable, it is something extra that we have to do.
Yeah, and like you said, most podcasts do, because we are a podcast, most podcasts do take like breaks or have seasons where they only come out with set amount of episodes. So we've been playing around about when we're going to end that, but probably in April sometime. Or maybe it would be like, depending on how many we have filmed by then, maybe the first week in May. But and then we would break until likely we started back up with our homeschools, which we both start in July. So we would probably take like at least a good portion of the beginning of summer, which works out because we're end up going to be busier anyway when we get into warmer. Well, I'll speak for myself, but
I mean, we're going on a trip, but other than that, I mean, yeah, it's not that I'll be less busy. I mean, because nothing really changes as far as like work or stuff for me. But I just think that when you're in homeschooling season, you want to listen to this kind of stuff. But like, we're hoping that like most of you guys are taking breaks during summer. And so like kind of, you know, taking that refresh. And I think for us too, like we need a break of just not talking about homeschool stuff all the time. It's not like we'll still be talking. So if you guys want to listen to us talk about whatever else we talk about, our romance books and what we're eating for dinner and floors. But I mean, yeah, I just think it would be good to have a season of break. So if the summer is like a good breaking point, let us know in the comments. Or like, I don't listen to podcasts. I watch a YouTube podcast and they set it on there like, okay, this is like the end of season. So that I texted Nickie and I'm like, hey, should we take a season? Like, I don't like a reality show. Like,
now don't get us wrong. This is going to hurt our YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's going to kill us.
This is going, when YouTube does not see a regular video, the algorithm is off. So we are really going to have to, you're going to see us promote the crap out of it to build up our next season. And I will likely be talking about it more on my personal channel as well to get people back into listening and back to it. So just FYI, throwing it out there. But we're so grateful for everyone that does still tune in to watch us, hear us, listen, whatever you do. But we'll be seeing you in our next video /
podcast episode. You'll hear us. You'll hear us next week. Yeah, you're not getting rid of us that quick.
All of our watchers, or what are the
watchers?
Yeah,
listeners. Watchers is creepy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, bye guys.
We want to hear from you. Your feedback is invaluable to us, so let us know your thoughts on today's episode. Share your topic suggestions or ask us any burning questions you may have. Your input shapes the direction of our podcast, and we're here to create content that resonates with you.
If you enjoy listening to homeschool stories, curriculum reviews, advice, struggles, and overall mom life, this podcast is for you. But so is our YouTube channels.
Don't forget to check out our individual channels. We share even more content, insights, and a behind-the-scenes look at our lives. Thanks for listening.